So today we're going to talk about wikis. Ready? Okay. So what is a wiki after all? Well, a wiki is kind of like this app. You can kind of create stuff, and really it's about editing and assembling useful information using a whole lot of different resources. And that's pretty cool, because that's kind of like our whole job in history, is to understand what happened. And you can't do that without a bunch of sweet resources. We know the most important wiki ever, well, right now at least, is Wikipedia, and it has a whole bunch of awesome information for us to get from just about any source. And they have wikis for just about anything, from dictionaries to Minecraft. So how do I update this wiki, Mr. Nowinski, and then how does this whole process work? Well, to the interwebs! And then here we go. So if you start at the beginning of class, you realize that there's this little button right in the middle called Wiki Notes. And if you click on that, it's going to bring you to this other page, giving you kind of the introduction statement. If you click on this link down here, you can see that it gives you a pretty detailed directions, as well as some helpful things in which you can use to help make your wiki posts. So for instance, you can go to the terms here, and you can take these specific terms, expand upon them, and add a whole bunch of new cool things to them, and really give us an understanding of these terms, which are going to be really important for your AP test, which is coming up pretty soon. You don't even know about it. Well, you do actually. Anyway, so you can get your terms from a whole bunch of different places too, including bolded words or things that are important in other readings as well. So keep on the lookout for interesting things to put inside the wiki, which is pretty cool. So, what kind of stuff goes in a wiki specifically? Well, there's a whole lot of things that go inside a wiki. Probably the thing you see the most is text. Lots and lots of text about a whole bunch of things on that specific topic. And that's pretty cool. But there's a lot more than text that goes inside a wiki. There's things like maps. Maps give you a good idea of how the world works. You can use charts and graphs, which help you understand the numerical changes throughout history, which is pretty cool. You can also put in pictures, because people like to be visual anyway, so they should see what you want them to understand. You can even add political cartoons, because that gives you an idea of how people thought about certain topics during the time period. You can even add videos, like for instance the landing on the moon, which is pretty important, so you should probably have something to document that in your wiki. And that's pretty cool. So you might be wondering, can I just copy things from Wikipedia? No, you cannot. But that's okay, because you can actually use Wikipedia to your advantage. For instance, if you go to Wikipedia, like this snazzy article about George Washington, you realize that there's a whole lot of different things that were used to make this specific wiki. So you can look at things like the bibliography section, which is pretty important. We can also see that there's lots of things like external links, which can give us a link to other places in which we can use. You can also find out more about George Washington in a whole bunch of other places, which is pretty cool. So you can use a lot of different resources from Wikipedia to use for your wiki, and I kind of like that. So there's a lot of other places you can find information from, including your textbook, primary sources we have, secondary sources, and as I said, of course, lots of websites. So you can go to places like the Library of Congress, the National Park Service, even the Wisconsin Historical Society has a lot of awesome things in which you can use. And so basically all you're going to do when you're updating your wiki is you're going to use this little button up here. You're going to click Create Wiki Page, and you're going to add all of your fun stuffs in here, including videos, pictures, any attachments, and you can name it whatever, but you probably should name it the term that it actually is. So that's pretty much what you're going to do. You're going to put your content in here, and then you're going to click submit. But of course you have to put something in, which is okay. You can also find your wiki links in a whole bunch of different places, including your classes. So for instance, if you're in here and you go to week 1, you can look down at the list of things you need to do, and you'll realize there is a link the wiki notes right here, so you could just go week by week. And of course, remember to stay in contact with the pace chart, because the pace chart is going to give you an idea of everything you need to do for that specific week. And that's how you are going to be successful in AP US History in the eAchieve Academy. Brought to you by the eAchieve Academy.